Hi everyone, my name is Anila. Welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know, about 2 years ago, I moved to Istanbul, Turkey, and since then, some people and some of my friends been asking me how my Turkish is doing. And today, I want to share with you my progress and particularly how I've been learning Turkish so far. And if you feel like, make sure you grab a drink and let's get started. To give you a bit of context, my current Turkish level is about A2 and I've been studying it all by myself. Yeah, I might have taken it slow and I could have learned it faster, but anyway. When it comes to learning Turkish, and that's the language that I'm learning from scratch, I'm a bit of old school and I prefer to have a clear structure to follow, and for that I am using currently a book called Istanbul. Let me show it to you. This one, I know that some language centers in Istanbul use it too. I personally downloaded it online and I'm studying Turkish on my iPad. I'm loving it. It's super convenient and it's pretty easy to find the student book, the workbook and all audio files on the internet. I'll link one of the websites down below as well. So what I love about this book is that it covers all the essential language skills. Even though it's entirely in Turkish, it's quite easy to follow it because all the units, they have the same structure. And even if you don't understand some tasks, you can always use Google Translate Camera to help you with it. That's what I usually do. Each unit starts with an introduction to the topic and key vocabulary, and then it is followed by reading, where the grammar is naturally introduced in context, and then there are some reading comprehension tasks and the grammar explanation itself. I mean, if you're a teacher too, probably you know what I'm talking about. So I am enjoying the structure, and as I said, it's easy to follow it. Speaking of the grammar, it's usually visually presented in the unit, and there are usually Turkish as well as English explanations of the rule. However, sometimes, to be honest, I felt like the explanations given there weren't really enough. So I had to resort to the internet where I looked up the explanations in English or in Russian. So that could be a downside. But after the explanation itself, there are usually some exercises to practice, and you can find some more exercises in the workbook. So that's pretty useful. And I've also forgot to mention the notebook that I'm keeping for my grammar. And basically what I do is that I just write down like a student all the grammar rules, not the rules themselves, but different forms. For example, I don't know, present tense endings, past tense endings, just like here. For example, I color the endings. I don't know if you know that, but in Turkish there are so many endings and suffixes to remember. And yes, I do know how old-fashioned it is probably, but as old-fashioned as it is, I think it does still help you to memorize grammar forms better, especially when there are so many different suffixes to remember, you know. So as for the vocabulary, I usually highlight or underline some new unknown words in the unit, and then I add these words to the Quizlet app. If you've never heard of this app before, so this is a tool that helps you to memorize foreign words better. So I create flashcards for each unit, and then I use these flashcards to learn the words. But that's not the main thing. The key is here not just to memorize these words, but to practice them, to use them. So what I do usually after memorizing words, I create sentences about myself or about my life using these words. It's essential for you to do in order to activate this vocabulary, in order to make sure that you'll be able to use these new words in actual situations. And I also recommend doing the same with grammar. Try making sentences after you've learned new forms. Try again to relate to you or to your life In this way, it will be easier to remember. Now, I would like also to touch upon speaking. So each unit has a few discussion questions that are aimed at improving your speaking skills. So what I usually do while practicing my speaking skills, I turn to ChatGPT, and while answering the questions, I ask ChatGPT to correct any mistakes that I make. But again, I feel like just 3 questions for discussion isn't enough. So what I do is I ask ChatGPT to continue a conversation, to ask me more questions, and again, I remind it to correct any mistakes that I make. The last thing that I would like to talk about is listening. So usually each unit has just one listening exercise, and I don't do anything extra just because I live in Turkey and I hear Turkish all the time. And even though I don't do anything extra, I feel like my listening skills are getting better and better, and I understand more and more. If you don't live in Turkey, I would highly recommend you watching the series. I know that so many people like them. For one, I can't watch Turkish series. It's just too long for me. But I know so many people who learned Turkish just by watching Turkish series. At least two of my colleagues at the university I'm currently working at, that's the way they've learned Turkish. And my sister, for example, I know that she picked up pretty many Turkish words after watching just a few episodes. So I would definitely highly recommend doing it. It's good not just for listening, but for enriching your vocabulary too. So I think that's it for today. I know it might seem a bit boring, monotonous and repetitive, but I kind of like it. I think it gives me this clear structure. It makes me more disciplined because every time when I decide to learn Turkish, I know what I'm gonna do. So yeah, it makes my learning process easier. I think that's it for today. Please don't hesitate to share your language learning experience, whether you're learning Turkish or any other language right now. Anyway, I'm wrapping it up here. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you soon. Bye!